Alright, let's start this again. It's been a while, but that's never been a problem for me. We continue our story following Rike and her journey through Rogue's Glade, it looks like. It's been a while. It turns out editing the sound was the hardest part, and I'm trying to do better about that. I wasn't sure what to do next, but I'm not writing a story, I'm running a campaign. I don't know what Rike will do, and I don't know what real players will do either. And practice makes perfect, whether it's with real players or me communing with the random numbers god. So, we are left with Rike in Rogue's Glade. According to my notes, she left off in this center, or around the center area. It looks like she is in that field of spiked pits that Rogue's Glade seems so happy to keep around with them. She talked with the local mage, who some people said could get her memories back, and who basically said, yes, I can, but you don't want me to. And he convinced her that, yeah, she didn't want him to. So she continues with the other two that are following her around. I believe it's, yes, Sama and Trark, the vaguely ambiguous mages who seem that the mage couple, they seem like they know more than they're letting on. Rike, for her part, definitely knows less than she's letting on, since her memories are not back yet, though she's getting bits and pieces, clues here and there. She was definitely part of something before all this started, and now she's here in Rogue's Glade, and gets to make a choice. She knows there are some people gathering a bit southwest of where she is. It looks like they are getting ready to travel to the Dark Forest, and that is probably where they're going to hunt down the people who attacked them. The Dark Forest, not sure what direction that is in. I should probably check the overall map anyway. Functionally, it doesn't matter though. So Rike gets to make a choice. She can go with that group and see if she can help them out somehow. She can go to the site of the big spell that went off the night before and see if she can figure out something with that. And she can decide to go off somewhere else on her own and forget the whole thing with Rogue's Glade. She likes Rogue's Glade and is not entirely sure why she likes it, so she was drawn to it. She's here. And the question that is left is, what does she do now? So the main choices are join with the locals and help them on the hunt, investigate the local magic whipping or whatever it was that went off, or go off on her own and maybe meditate and try to figure out who she is and what she should do. She already did kind of the meditate option, so really the main options are investigate the site or investigate. The main options are investigate the site or investigate. So the main options are to investigate the site or join with the locals and hunting down their attackers. So let's go ahead and see what Rike decides. I'll give her those are the two main choices with a slight possibility of just going off somewhere else. Okay, she decides to check out. That was the join the locals option. So she decides to join with the locals and see what they're doing. I often also hope that my players will take the obvious quest when it's given to them. Of course, there's always the option. It's like, okay, I give you these two main options you can follow. There's always the option of coming up with your own. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can and should happen here. We will see how many of them actually do happen. So that means she continues to the local group. Who does she find here? Alright, that would be traveling north and west. Why do I keep misreading that map? Yes, she goes north and west. And here in this northwest area, she finds a group of various misfits, random warriors. Basically a raiding party, except this one is set up as more of a hunting party. It looks like you have. Actually, let's double check and see what sorts of things are common in Rogue's Glade. Okay, we can see here, Rogue's Glade has firebenders and magic artifact forgers, so you have a good combination there. So yeah, you got for group gathering here, mostly call them some firebenders and some warriors with various minor magic artifacts that they've either been built or plundered, and they are here looking for getting ready to go into that dark forest where they expected others to have gone. So Rike offers to join them without even too much of an introduction. They seem to accept that. You roll for it. Do they accept it? Yeah, they accept that without much of a complaint or issue. The question then becomes making the forest. So, okay, let's make the map. Yay, we get to make and parse a new map. That took me like 5 minutes last time. Let's see how long it takes now. Nah, let's pick another one. I keep getting this Lost Valley template, which looks kind of like it could work for a forest. Technically, you can make a forest out of any map, just like you can make an ocean out of any map. Just cover it in water. And with a forest, you would just cover it in trees. Hey, there we go. And this actually kind of fits the lore since there are swamps everywhere. Yes, they're going into a swamp. So let's see. We have Medora. No, not Medora. Alright. We have Rike with Sama and Trark. They meet the group of people who are preparing to hunt down those who attacked them the night before. I have that area set up. They see an assortment of several people preparing to leave. It looks like they are being led by someone called Janad. He's kind of the commander there. Interesting, kind of blue spiky armor there, very ornate. That's random numbers again talking. They are hesitant at first when, of course, Trark and Sama don't say much. They're just kind of following Rike, but they look like they're people who can handle themselves at minimum. But their initial reaction is like, alright, we're glad to have the help, but why should we trust you? And what does Rike say? She's the one who's kind of leading this whole thing. Okay. She says, yes, you're right. You're right not to trust us. You don't know us. Still, I want to help. I like what I've heard about your community. I'd like to be part of it. What can we do? And they decide, alright, we need to go now if we need to catch these people. You stay here and talk to our trainer, and she will help you. She'll help vet you and figure out if you are right for us. And they leave, and then leave her with the trainer. The trainer is Drasha. Okay, we're looking at some humans here. She's some kind of ranger, but got some interesting sets of abilities here. We don't need to go into details what they are just yet. But Drasha is fairly brusque. Okay, she looks stern, and that's interesting personality right there. Alright, okay. Josh immediately steps up to Rike and starts looking her over, asking, what's your story here? Rike goes ahead and tells her the truth, tells her what she's doing here. She gets the impression this is not a person to lie to, especially since she is sincere. She would like to be part of the community and wants to get off on the right foot, at least until she can get her memories back. Of course, who knows what will happen once she gets her memories back. And after telling her story so far, that she woke up not long ago in a cave on the coast, which is a long way away from here, she asks, how did I get here? Drasha asks Rike, how did she get here, and says that magic did it and she's still trying to figure it out. Alright, well, you're a mage, great. We need to figure out what you can do. And she points out, if you do succeed in getting your memories back, which is what you're trying to do, what guarantee is there that you'll still be the person you are now? That is definitely a reason to not trust you, says Drasha. Hard to argue with that, but the person she is now would like to help them, and even if you don't trust her, maybe there are things they can do to help each other, to which Drasha agrees. In fact, she points out that Rogue's Glade, they are in Rogue's Glade, right? Forgetting the names. Yes, Rogue's Guard is a totally different place. Easy to confuse. What is Rogue's Guard? Rogue's Guard is a swamp in the west, which seems to be the direction they're heading in, because they're heading out west into a swamp. It's at least in the direction of Rogue's Guard, probably well before getting there. Yeah, Rogue's Guard is totally different culturally. I still have details that need to be filled out with Rogue's Guard. Rogue's Glade, yeah, is our little anarchist place in the center by this anarchist raiders by the volcano. And of course, trying to depict a stable anarchy is always fun. This is fantasy after all. Not that I'm saying that you can't actually do that, but we don't need the political commentary at the moment. In any case, yes, Drasha agrees. Alright, let's look at your abilities, see what you can do. And what is she going to do to test that? Fight her herself? Have her go through an obstacle course? Fight some kind of monster? Something else? Let's see. Random number says fight her herself. Good enough option. So in process of fighting her herself, how does Rike respond to that? Her personality being what it is, does she agree to fight? No, because she's not a fighter. She's a trickster. She doesn't like to fight directly. Which Drasha says, fine. Be however you want. You have that sword on you. You should know how to use it. Whether you want to fight or not, sometimes the world makes you. So you're going to fight me? It's like, well, you can attack me and I'll see what I do. Drasha agrees. That's fair enough. What happens? As she attacks Rike, what does she... The other two, of course, stand by, watch. And she's going to test them in a moment. Rike, of course, dodges. Oh. Does Rike know how to do an illusion thing on herself? Yes. She doesn't doesn't do a full illusion where she just disappears or turns into just a massive shadow or something. It's more subtle than that. She is not quite where she appears to be. The air around her ripples and changes and whatnot. It's some basic shadow magic. Actually, let's double check that. Can a level 1 shadow mage do that sort of thing? Let's double check. I think level 1 shadow mages can. Not saying that's what Rike is. Rike's a lot of things. Well, she is a level 1 shadow mage, at any rate, in the same sense that I am 20 years old and have been for many years. Yes, yes, and no. So basically, actually, yeah, that does look like something that a shadow mage can do. Good enough. Oh, wow. Alright, so their little fighting thing goes by fairly quickly. Rike dodges a bit. Drasha also manages to dodge as Rike tries to come back and attack. She draws her sword, and she does some little shadow trick things, ends up getting the blade at Drasha's throat in one of her little maneuvers there. Drasha accepts that. Yeah, you can handle yourself, it looks like. At which point she wants to test the others. They say that they're mages, don't really fight with weapons. Chark has a sword. Midor is someone else. We have Chark and Sama. Fighting Chark, we have Drasha fights Chark and immediately can tell he is holding back. It's like, you are toying with me. It's like, yes, good. I'm rather good at fighting with a sword or anything else. Sama, let's see. So Drasha's assessment of Chark is, yes, he's definitely capable of... She quickly determines that Chark is very capable of fighting. Sama, on the other hand, prefers to use magic. Not that Chark doesn't. His just is more subtle. Sama points out, look, we can't have a fight with each other. I would hurt you. Sama does not want to fight Drasha, but she's willing to give a demonstration, which Drasha accepts. Pick a target, destroy it. And so she looks around where they are, which I should go back to that area. Where are they? Okay, they are standing in the field of spiked pits. No, they left the field of spiked pits. They are on a scorched hillside. Alright, yeah, there's lots of buildings around. There's the big bonfire from the night before. So there's the ashes of the fire, there's various things around. Vault is probably too important, she won't target that. Is there anything nearby? Okay, yeah, there's this catapult they have nearby. Is it any good condition? Destroy? No, they don't want to destroy the catapult. There must be something nearby that they can... Well, yeah, we'll just say there's some rocks nearby. There's always some rocks nearby. So, she gets to the rocks and releases a zap of energy that goes to the rocks, and what does it do to them? We get a roll dice for that, right? Yeah, the rocks become hardened and frozen. They change their surface, they break up into little splinters. Does that satisfy Drasha? Not a little bit, not particularly. She's seen it before. Oh, does Drasha know what that is? No, she does not. That seems weird. She should know what that is. Did I say she doesn't know what that is? Have her hit it again. Alright, this time she hits the hardened rocks. They puff into mist. Completely vaporized. Does Drasha recognize that? Oh yes, yep. She recognizes chaos magic when she sees it. So, powerful chaos mage. We're glad to have you with us if you want to help us. And does she? Well, we're following Rike, and somewhat hesitantly, and Drasha points out that does not inspire confidence. Rike at least wants to be part of them, and you two people are following her. Why? What are your reasons? Drasha more than suspects that they caused Rike's memory loss. However, we have other issues going on here. The main issue being that Drasha doesn't trust the three of them. It's like, okay, you people are competent, you can defend yourselves. That was the first test. The other, bigger and more important test is, are you Rogue's Glade material? Rogue's Guard material. Rogue's Glade. I'm gonna keep messing that up. Maybe I should change the names at some point. Rogue's Glade seems like a good place for kind of an anarchist place. Rogue's Guard feels weird. There's a variety of reasons we could names or what people have their names and places have their names for a variety of reasons. They can change. We can always change. Let's see. But in any case, yes, Rogue's Glade and Drasha is trying to think about how can they test the loyalty of these three newcomers who claim they want to help. Well, loyalty is something that's gained over time. You can help, you're competent, the three of you can head out over into the place where we're pursuing the others that's where the attack came from, or where we think it came from. We do have diviners who work on that sort of thing. This is a world where magic is quite common. That seems to be kind of a default setting in Chaotica, though, which I guess that makes sense. We're using the default setting. Of course, we're not using the unabridged default setting, which is basically Alice in Wonderland crazy stuff. But what else do we have? Alright, so Drasha says loyalty will just have to be tested with time. One of the ways that things work in Rogue's Glade is we just know each other. We do have networks of communities working with each other, raiders. We do have our standards. We do have no kings, no rulers. Everyone is expected to either be able to defend themselves or to be able to support those who can. And all three of you pass on that count. You can defend yourselves. So, go out and help us and get to know us. Welcome aboard. And do know that if you do betray us, we do have a somewhat scorched earth policy. What does that mean? Don't betray us. We do allow people to leave, however. If you feel that this life is no longer right for you, you are allowed to walk away. I need to stop saying Drasha is going to stay. The three of you can go on out. What, without supervision? No, we have ways of keeping an eye on you. Do they have ways of keeping an eye on her? Well, she says she does. They can believe her or not. So, they move along further west. Let's see. Going west, what do they find as they head out? How long have they been doing this? Are they able to meet up with the main group before it reaches their destination? There's a good chance they will do that. And it looks like they do not, either because they take a different route or because the other group was moving very quickly. Either way, they don't catch up. So they arrive on their own to the swamp. Random numbers have no help in that case. They do, let's see. Still, by the time they get there, it's likely to be noon. They can see looking out over this landscape. You have a swamp here, but that doesn't quite do it justice. You can see deep grass. Deep grass. Large patches of deep grass and fog. Fog everywhere. Most of this valley is shrouded in fog, looking down into its depths. And there are a few places where they can see thick grass sticking out above the fog. Most places they see are, it's fog and grass. Okay, they do see kind of a stream. There's a river that runs through it, more or less, kind of swampy. The river alternates between having a clear flow and kind of spreading out and you want to call it an archipelago. It's where, call it a flood basin, whatever you want to call it. There's the river is patchy, moves from place to place. So yeah, something like that. So they show up at the deep grass here. So looking out over this misty land here, they come to let's call it an encampment. There's an encampment here in the deep grass. There's not a lot of solid land anywhere. Well, it's all marshy, misty, and whatnot. But there's kind of this platform built up on top of some of the grass here. And they can see this elf here, who is just manically cooking. Apparently is working as a chef for the expedition. They find it a little odd. It's like, what's your deal here? It's, I'm here to cook for Rogue's Glade. That's what I do. That's what I support. And the guy is just talking to himself and twitching and rambling and cooking up a storm. It looks like he's cooking up some rather delicious food here. It becomes very quickly apparent that he is some kind of, I don't know if you want to call it firebender, or he has fire magic or something. The guy's got some fire in him, metaphorically and literally, and he is cooking with it. And it looks like he's having some fun talking with other people who aren't there, or maybe they are there and we can't see them. We don't know. The guy is nuts, and he is cooking. Rike and the others mention that they are with Rogue's Glade, which he accepts without question and without really paying much attention to them. He's not interfering with their cooking, so he's fine. They want to know where everyone else went, and he says that the main party is somewhere else. Does he know where they went, first of all? Yeah. Just tells them down into the mist. It could be anywhere in there. There are distant explosions to the north they can hear. That's worth noting. There are flashes of light in the mist, perhaps of people fighting or something is going on down there. So, to the southwest. To the southwest, Rike can see. To the southwest, Rike can see. To the southwest, Rike can see and hear something happening in the mist. It looks like that's actually not too misty. There's that patch of grass she can see kind of at a distance. Something is going on there. There is some kind of confrontation nearby. To the north, that's where the explosive sounds are coming from. There's something going on to the north as well. So Rike has a choice here. Several choices. She can go north to see what the explosions are. She can go to the southeast to see what the sounds of fighting or whatever they are. She can choose to ignore both of those and explore the rest of the area. She uses her kind of shadow sense to see what she can see. And a lot of things stand out. There's definitely signs of things that she should be aware of, but it's kind of twisted. It's not the kind of shadow sense that she normally can detect here. The big problem is that the whole area is covered in distractions. It's hard to make out anything interesting because there's lots of shadow things that she can detect in the fog. She's not sure what they are. Lots of creatures that are mildly aligned with shadow magic there, and that makes it difficult to read what else is out there. She can definitely sense something to the southwest, which is the same direction the fighting is coming from. There seems to be more interesting things there. What decision does she make between going north, southwest, or somewhere else altogether? Looks like she goes southwest, which does make the most sense, even though the decision was made with random numbers. Okay, so she goes ahead and heads south past the stream that's there. No buildings of note. That's a fairly empty riverbank, but she follows the river into the deep grass, going the other way. The river peters out, squishy grass everywhere, which is disgusting. She doesn't want to get through it too much, but that's the whole area is that way. And she comes across, in the deep grass, there are several rough characters here fighting. One of them is holding this big red scythe. A big red scythe. I'm not sure what's going on with the big red scythe, but the person holding it is swinging it around and menacing everyone. Those who have him surrounded are just trying to... No one is real or eager to get within striking distance, but they seem to be kind of a standoff. All the ranged options they have don't seem to have too much of an effect. The big guy carrying the scythe is not to be deterred. Rike walks up and asks what's going on, tries to check out. Rike walks up to try to figure out what's going on, to ask the scythe-wielding guy what he's part of those who attacked Rogue's Glade, and he replies with some, "We've been hunting you for years, you'll never stop us now." Something cryptic and vaguely villainous, and makes it kind of clear he's not going to negotiate, talk, surrender. No one else has been able to hit him with anything there, but Rike asks Sama to zap him, to which Sama is... Does Sama follow that order? What does Sama zap him with? Interesting. Him going berserk and just attacking anything nearby. Everyone scatters and he starts spinning around with that scythe, flopping around, flailing. Not sure what he does with that, but it looks odd. Does she zap him again? No. At this point, he runs off, carrying that big scary scythe off into the mist, screeching and flailing and ranting about something, and they let him go. Well, actually, no. Sama lets him go. Chaotica lets him go. Rike doesn't care. He's no longer an issue. Do the other people from Rogue's Glade let him go? Yeah, they vaguely try to pursue, but it's not worth their trouble. They let him go as well. He's no longer attacking them, which was the main point. And they say to hurry on to the next area where they can... Not the next area, it's... Follow us, thanks. Head down into the darker, foggy path, kind of this... Well, every place is flat here, but it's still... There's a thicker part of the swamp. Is there anything here? Okay. And as they get into this darker part of the swamp, a bunch of... I don't want to call them zombies, but they are definitely some type of undead. Everyone from Rogue's Glade fights the undead. How does that work out for them? Undead on one side, Rogue's Glade on the other. Ooh, yeah, the undead are too tough here. What can Rike do? Let's see. She does sense, with her shadow magic, that maybe there's something she can do here. She tries to disrupt the magic that's holding together the undead, with some effect. Some of them collapse. It does turn the tide a bit, but more of them sprout up. Yeah, more of them rise up through the mist. So there's even more of them now. What can they do to stop them? Let's see. Chaotica joins in, turns the tide. Chaotica is just a melee powerhouse. The guy pulls out his big sword, and just the swarming undead are an intimidating force, but they just... Everything that comes at him, he just finds some way around it. It is... Chaotica is difficult to fight. He just is always on point, and they can't sneak up on him. He's always just calm and always where he needs to be. And he quickly deals with the undead. The rest of them scatter or are dead or are destroyed. People from Rogue's Glade definitely just let him take point. Here, then, they continue west and come up across a deeper place. Or here we find... It looks like Janad is here with his personal guard. He's the Rogue's Glade. Calling a commander is kind of right. He's definitely got some kind of commander and a personal force. Rogue's Glade does allow him to have that sort of thing, though he's one of many. He's a leader because people follow him, not for any other reason. I don't know. Call it what you like. He's standing off against... There is some kind of warrior elf here. Tall, sharp-looking, very elegant bladed... Got some... Okay, he's wearing some kind of glowing amulet and is surrounded by so much more... I guess I should roll up what kind of undead those are. The others were just generic, I guess. Generic, but more advanced. I should give this one the respect of something more specific. So Rike can see them fighting. Standing off to each other. The undead try to get close to Janad, and they can't. He always manages to slip away. He and his followers are mostly surrounded. The big elven warrior is standing behind his group of undead. The undead themselves looks like they are based off of water and shadow, which Rike fully intends to exploit, but they are too strong, rooted in the swamp like this. So that is something that will be difficult for her to undo. Even at her level, she tries to... Okay, let's see what happens. She tries to do that, and what happens? Okay, she can manage to slow them down a little bit, but that minor inconvenience that she gives to them is more than enough for Janad to take advantage of and eliminate. And what is Janad saying? He wants to capture this guy, the elf that looks like the leader of whatever's going on here. Does Rike notice? She does. Rike notices this guy is not particularly a mage. It looks like he's controlling the undead with some kind of amulet that he's wearing. She also notices that the big magic attack that happened the night before, she hasn't seen anyone here even close to capable of pulling off something like that. So she notices that whoever did that is not here, and she's not seen any sign of them, which that may matter. Let's see. Alright. Dive in, quick fight between Janet and the elf. Let's see what that looks like. I'm not sure who is who in that. Okay, let's use this other system here. Oh, wrong one. Over here. There we go. Ooh. So Janet dives in, pushes past the undead, does something to them that makes them fall to the ground twitching. It doesn't seem to have killed them, but it seems to temporarily disable them. The elf tries to push him back, but he comes in too hard, too fast. Okay, quick victory for Janet. The dice smiled upon him, so to speak. Give him one more shot. Aha! The elf does pull out a twist at the end as he gets pushed down to the ground. Rike sees him grasp his talisman, and I'll find out what he does over here. What does it do? There's this pillar of light that comes in and seems to teleport him away. Alright, that's clear enough. Interesting. So he has escaped. Rike needs to try to bring back her abilities somehow. She's still trying to figure things out. She scans out the rest of the swamp to see what she can find, to see if there's anything else that can give her some clue to who these people are. It looks like the Rogue's Glade forces have won for the most part. Let's see, can she detect the other things out there? Partially, yes. She can tell there's lots of shadow-based critters in the swamp, several more undead in various places. Okay, there are some clues later. Let's cut to the chase and say that she explores some of the area around here with the help of the Rogue's Glade forces. Searching around the swamp, they find lots of critters. You have various twisted newts, and the squirrels actually seem largely immune to the magic of this place, as do the cockroaches. There's lots of roosters that are strange here. I'm not even sure what that is. Some kind of pig, a hairy pig-like creature that is really ugly. That's of note. Okay, she finds some small magic artifacts, communicators of some sort here. She tries to decipher them, figure out what they can do. Does she figure that out? No, she's stumped. She doesn't know what they do, can't figure out how to use them. She had a chance there. Let's see, can others figure that out, like Janad? He's not much of a mage. Nope, doesn't. He's got some skill, but not like that. Not the knowledge to figure out what those items do or how they can. They could have been a clue leading to them to show where these people came from. But as they wander around through the swamp, continue through a foggy path up through the center here, there was an artificial storm, an electric storm that they found. That was the thing that was making the booming sounds from the north of the base camp. They go back to eat, and they continue their search. As they have this kind of grid search through the swamp. They end up finding in the northern end of the swamp a heavily corrupted black metal newt. This thing has this dark metal skin that's implanted. Do you say implanted? That's covered in shadow magic plating. So, Rike, can she manage to get through the newt that's defending this thing? There is this, it's defending some kind of entrance that is hidden here. Okay, Rike manages to slow it down enough the others can get in and stop it. They find the guy with the scythe on the inside, and he is the same guy with the scythe that found before. Looks like they find him over looking plans some kind of plans. Can they decipher the plans? No, the plans are strange and difficult to decipher. Rike tries with her shadow stuff. Nope, no luck there either. But they have some kind of plans they can take back and try to decipher back in Rogue's Glade. So they take the plans with them. The guy himself is still... Is he? Okay, what's his condition? Is he out of it? Yeah, he's still out of it. He is not going to be... They managed to capture him to take back for possible interrogation. They have others, but most of the ones they captured are undead, and a few of them might be able to be interrogated. There's not much else here that they can find. They searched through it, but can't find anything of note. Ooh, that's important. Do they find that? Yes, one of their scouts managed to find the hideout in the southwest corner of this part of the swamp, and in it... Okay, you know what? I need to roll to find out what that thing is. What do they find? Okay, none of those fit, so let's do it randomly. Okay, that actually fits. They find a sword here. What is that? It's got some kind of runes along the blade. Can they figure out what it is? Oh yeah, okay. Rolled high, so Rike can figure it out. Yeah, not shadow magic, it's necromancy. And she's not sure what it says, but she can definitely get the impression of what it does. This is a sword that is designed to... It'll harm the user. Anyone who uses it is going to be pulled further and further into various stages of undeath until they are dead and converted into some sort of undead. She doesn't know the details, but definitely something there. Let's actually copy that in. She does not want to keep the blade. Let's see. What's his name? No, Jenna does not want it. Nobody wants to take the sword with them since they figure out what it is. They wrap it up so nobody has to touch it, and they take it back with them. So Jenna sort of keeps it there, but not at easy access. Let's see. Anything else they find here? Evidence. Do they find... No, they don't find... The trail seems to run cold, so they don't know what happened here. They can find the blade, and there's people they can interrogate, but beyond that, there's nothing particularly clear about where this will lead. Let's double check chapter stuff. That may matter. In the cave where they found the guy with the scythe. Okay, does the scythe have anything? Yes, okay. They managed to take the scythe. Rike can tell has definitely got shadow magic in it, and she can figure out what that is. She is going to try to decipher what the scythe is telling. Will that be enough? Do they find that? Yes. There's a prisoner they found who was watching them in the shadows as they get into the cave. So, okay. The prisoner they found, tall human woman here. She is a hunter that lives out in the wilds, goes by the name Chael. She was being held prisoner, and it looks like they were planning on turning her into some kind of undead. Clothing and food. They bring her back to the base camp. What does she say about the information? What does she have information about them that is useful? Yes, she has useful information. Good, that's what I suspected. She was tracking them for several days, looking for... until there was a treasure she was looking for. Was it the sword? No, some other treasure. What kind of treasure does she say? Let's take a look. Conversation heuristic says... Okay, she was after the amulet that the guy had. Apparently it was stolen. So does she know what the amulet is about? Not that much. Let's see, does she know? Mostly she's just a treasure hunter. She says she's good at treasure hunter. She's a professional dungeon crawler. Classic adventurer. Alright. Very good at disarming traps. Might be good to have her around. Let's see. She talks about visions she has of some kind of shadow that she thinks will come to protect. It says that she needs rest, but she can definitely talk more about that when she has the chance. Alright. That answers those questions. Alright, we've made some good progress with chapter 1. They have a prisoner and a magic artifact to try to kind of decode to see if they can get any information from them. I try not to say so much. Alright, next stop we have the interrogation. And there are some other things that need to happen before chapter 1 can be finished, but we are making progress. You'll find out more next time.